Today's show is brought to you by Percival Designs. Do you need a new website or logo for your small business? Head over to www.percivaldesigns.com. That's www.percivaldesigns.com to schedule your free design consultation today. Percival Design specializes in graphics and brandings for small businesses and entrepreneurs so you can continue to focus on what's important, your customers. Again, that's www.percivaldesigns.com, and it's 100% free for a design consultation. It's time to put your branding first.
Hey, what's up? This is Pace Poetry, and you are listening to Chemtrails Podcast. H-Town. Hey, if the love don't feel like 90s R&B music, I want no parts. I traveled too long down this road of broken hearts from all this new music with these new lines spitting the same rhymes, all of them so confused. Hell, I can't seem to figure out my own mood from all these saturated messages. They're just killing my vibe. I need that kind of love that can take me to the depths where infinity lies. Oh, I remember the little games we played. Damn, how the rules of this love game has changed. Technology advancements of auto-tunes, mixed and masters have dudes thinking they all hold the major key. But it'll take more to get the key to my heart. I'm not interested in a Billboard hit. I need a classic that'll stand the test of time. The kind of love that'll make me believe I can fly. Give me the courage to chase that waterfall. Let me see our vision of love written up above. Show me that my love is not in vain and come ease this pain of mine. Blind me to the replica beside forms of love. No relationship goals needed. Cause this will be no ordinary love. You plus me will equal a sweet bliss of eternity. Yes, the best things in life are free. And if I ever fall in love again, it has to feel like 90s R&B.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to the Chemtrails Podcast. I'm your host, Mo Chris, along with Trader Dre.
What's up? What's up?
What's up? We got AP on too, but we letting AP get his technical difficulties together. But anywho, today, man, we excited, man. We got Pace Poetry online right now with us. Say something to our listeners, Pace.
Hey, listeners. Now I'm trying to act out shy. Hey.
And we're going to have a great show today. We're going to keep this show fun, energetic, and everything. So, and you know how what we do first, let's start with what's on your mind. And I don't know what you have today, Dre, but what I have for what's on my mind, I have two things. I'm going to just toss it up in the air. We got WAP. Y'all already know what WAP means. Wings and pizza. Nah, no. we got WAP. And we got Kamala Harris. Which one y'all want to start first? I'm ready to dive in.
WAP. Go ahead and do it, man. Do it.
WAP. What you do? Okay. So WAP, man, we have, of course, everybody know that Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, Houston's own Megan Thee Stallion, they collaborated on a new song called WAP. And WAP is an acronym for Wet Ass Punani, you know what I'm saying? So,
well done, Chris.
Yeah, well done. So, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I actually was agreeing to Cardi B point, but I still have a rebuttal towards that too as well. So she was saying that even though she's getting all the criticism, especially the conscious community, which is, I can't lie, I'm part of that community as well. She's getting a lot of backlash, but she's saying, hey, y'all streaming my music. They got conscious or positive rap music out there. It's out there, but it's just not getting streamed. So obviously, everybody's listening to her music, but my thing is with that is, okay, it's kind of like giving, like I think of what Dr. Boyce was saying, like, that's kind of like it's candy for a kid, but you know it's not good for them to take. Why should we still do things that you know is detrimental to the community? So I was just trying to, especially little girls, little Black girls. I know that's been the focus, but I just want to hear y'all take on it on this new WAP thing and the backlash from it.
Can I go first?
Oh,
Please.
girl, please,
Please.
please.
Jump in there.
I have a lot to say. Granted, I more so consider myself a womanist because I'm about the community as a whole, but Black feminist as well. And at times, you know, at the beginning part, I'm like, okay, women, we have so many stories. Me being a poet, you go to a poetry show that I've done where it's just straight women, Black women in particular. We have so many stories to tell. So it's kind of like it doesn't center around that. However, as I started listening to a lot of the negative backlash, I just started to really, really pinpoint and think about it. Because even with my birthday, I chose to be a little risque with my photos. And you start to think like, oh, is this doing too much? Am I supposed, is a woman supposed to be like this? Is a lady supposed to be like that? But who set the standards for how a woman or supposed to act like a lady? Men. Because and women, we are told to follow these guidelines in order to get what? A man. And if we follow these guidelines, it guarantees that we will get a man. I mean, we have a whole chapter in the Bible dedicated to how a woman is supposed to be acting. So it's like we have these guidelines set for us. And then I saw the video of the father saying, oh, what type of example you setting for my daughters? Well, what are you telling your daughter? How are you treating Black women? How are you setting an example to your daughter as far as how she's supposed to be treated, how she's supposed to be carrying herself? Because no one is saying to these male rappers, you setting a bad example for my sons, blah, 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 for them not to be drug dealers and that. No one's saying that. But because this comes out, and granted, people have been saying this for a long, long time. Just some people can be a little bit better at using metaphors.
Yeah.
They just really just straightforward. You know, it is what it is. But even one of my classmates, she actually went viral with her tweet that said Megan is saying the same thing that Janae Aiko is saying, except for she's petite and whispering, and she's not lying. So it all depends. It depends on the delivery and who's doing it. And I think people are making it a big deal because we have been, as women, told how we're supposed to act and carry ourselves based on male standards. However, on the flip note, I get the other side too, because in the music industry, they're wanting women to degrade themselves and to sell sex. And so when you get rappers like Rhapsody, who I love, whose album Eve is just straight womanist work, like it just embodies just everything that I'm studying right now, they ain't messing with it. And Cardi B's right, they not messing with it.
Right.
This guy made a point on one of his posts. I mean, his delivery was really but he made a point. When Black artists are doing the positive stuff, like when you had the New Editions, they come out and they package a white group like New Kids on the Block. You know what I'm saying? But they're not having these white artists doing the same thing like the Cardi B's and Megans and stuff like that. They want us to continue to corrupt our own community in that type of way, but it's kind of like, well, what is actually sexual? It's so many layers to this, you know, like it's a lot of layers. And I feel like there's no right or no wrong, but I feel just the delivery as far as the attacks have been just, it shows the real double standard.
But
like,
why do they buy it?
Double standard.
Why do they buy it? That's my question. Like, if it wasn't gonna sell, they wouldn't do it. So when you look at who's buying it, it ain't really, look at who's buying the most rap music out there. It ain't Black people.
But you know, it's everybody.
So why do they buy it?
It's everybody
contributing that they truly want in it. And that's the thing. It's like what she's saying, you know, they want Black women to sell sex. Why? Yeah. Why do these guys want to buy that? Why is that a thing that's so popular, so prevalent that more than 60% of the viewership, listenership, whatever, is going to come from a race that is not Black, that is not Latino. It's just something I got to ask. It's like, if that's what's pouring in all the money, is it something that they have like some deep desire for? I'm just curious about that.
It's the fetishism. It's what I'm trying to make sure I'm pronouncing the word right. But fetishism, you know, they fetishize about, you know.
Yeah, we got you, girl.
Black. So I'm like, sorry, you know what I'm saying? Can't even tell I'm an English teacher, but but yeah, they definitely fetish about the Black bodies.
I'm hearing both of you guys' argument. I think the reason why it's such a big deal right now because of 2020, meaning we are saying, okay, this is not the time for it, because you know, and it's hard to get all of us on the same page, and so anytime where they can use, because everybody's a tool, so anytime they can use our artists against our own best interest, and it always works. I mean, of course, it's going to sell. And then for those who say, hey, this is sexual liberation, hey, we're in the times where sexual liberation is accepted. I mean, you can literally become a whole nother gender right now. So I don't buy the sexual liberation part. I do understand everything you say, sex sells, and let's just keep it real. That's what everybody wants to hear, but is it a right time for right now? And that's my final conclusion on that is I don't think it's a proper thing to do as right now, 2020, while we're trying to arrest the cops who murdered Breonna Taylor.
Please arrest the cops who murdered Breonna Taylor.
And so next I wanted to discuss Kamala Harris. She's just got, I won't say just got, but Joe Biden announced his VP, Kamala Harris. And so I was not surprised, because when they was talking about him electing a Black woman to be his VP, everybody knew that, okay, this is my last Black card. I'm going to wait to the last minute to do it. And it was between her, Stacey Abrams, and who else? It was Stacey Abrams and somebody else. I can't remember. But I already knew Kamala. I said, he's going to pick Kamala. And they try to play on them being like, not enemies, but going back and forth at each other at the debates and stuff. But come on, Kamala she got the biggest popularity. She's also was a presidential nominee, and her prosecution record, which I don't approve of, but in the eyes of conservative people, even though she's Democrat, right? But in the eyes of conservative people, like, hey, she's very opposed to law. She locks people up without remorse. And this is the person we need, which I don't agree to that, but what y'all think about Kamala Harris and being vice president and all that?
Let me jump in here, man. I gotta go. I hate to say it like this. She is like a presidential wet dream, right? She is for Joe Biden. She checks all the boxes, man. She checks every box that could possibly be checked. First of all, she falls into the category of Black, right? Even though she's clearly mixed, right? But one drop does it. So
I don't like calling her Black because she doesn't call herself Black.
Hey, she
doesn't call herself Black.
Hey, first of all,
she was at HBCU.
I'm gonna say it like this.
I don't care.
if anybody's looking at her and they saying, "Hey, what's that woman? She Black." That's what she is. Just like, so that's, I'm gonna just leave it at that. But she Black, she Asian, she is Democrat, she backs the blue. So it's like,
she's basically a cop herself.
Yeah, I mean, which, you know, that's a job, so you really can't knock it. But at the same time, it's like, she checks all the boxes. She pulls all the weight right out from under the other vice president. What's he gonna do? Stand on his Christian values in the face of the turmoil that's going on? What are you gonna do? Get up there and preach about Jesus? Instead, you know, right now, she's gonna be able to hard hit on every major issue. And I mean, like, I think everybody's already kind of got it in their minds. It come down to these vice presidential debates. Mike Pence is about to get ate up. I mean, like, ate up in an ugly way.
You know, Mike Pence ain't got to
And
do nothing. He
uh,
just
but that's the thing. And so that's why I look at it now and I'm like, I see my boy CJ the smart guy talking about, hey, the way this go down, Trump may very well pull Pence off the ticket, throw in like Candace Owens, see what happens.
no. Pace, what you got, Pace?
I don't even know how to follow that. I don't even know how to follow that one. I mean,
man.
I can't, as a Black woman, speak negatively about another Black woman because she is Black. Her daddy Black. Her mom's Indian, not Asian.
Her daddy's super. He looked like Ron Isley with the slick back. What about AP? We got AP. I thought I heard him. AP, man, you got the last word, man.
I was wondering when y'all was gonna let me say something, man. Damn. Lee, between you and Dre, man, I don't get to say shit no more, man.
You had technical difficulties.
Yeah,
man.
that was at the beginning, man. I've been on here for about 10 minutes, man, listening, trying to say something. God damn. But no, I ain't got nothing, man.
You got nothing for WAP, man? You got nothing for WAP? What that WAP
Nah,
do?
man, between WAP and Kamala Harris, like I said, you just gotta read in between the lines. Everything is a distraction, so just read between the lines.
Exactly.
But AP, did you watch the video?
No, I have not. I have not seen the whole thing. Not yet.
I saw
the
video.
Yeah, I'm not. I just, like, man, I'm one of the guys that don't feed into the hype, bro. I like, oh, you gotta watch like Breaking Bad. Oh, you gotta watch that. It's the best show ever. I never watched it just because they hyped it up too much. Just like with this WAP. It's getting hyped up too much.
The only thing I
suggest you watch the video.
Yeah, you probably should.
Agree.
Yeah, I might check it out.
The only thing I say this video is raunchy, and yes, we had somebody was like, we got Tip Drill, BT Uncut, all that. I know those can be worse than this video, but what makes this one so raunchy is Cardi B part when she had her breasts out, the camera zoomed in. So I'm saying, and it was moving. So that just lets you know they are pushing the bar for things. It's no different to what they did on Walking Dead on that season where the dude was bashing this dude head in and put that on national TV. You'd be like, those are two different things. No, but it shows them how they can just keep pushing the bar. And next day, But anyway, we're going to move on. That was What's on Your Mind. And now we're about to go into the takeoff.
Do you want to be part of the Chemtrails family? Join the group. You can find us on Facebook and ask for access to our group. You'll be one of the first to know of everything Chemtrails.
All right. We're back for the takeoff. And since we have Pace Poetry, I'm going to introduce our guest. Pace Poetry is, first of all, she's a mother, a poet, an author, educator, and she has so many hats that, man, I'm pretty sure I might have forgot something within it. So, and I just wanted to give her a proper introduction to the Chemtrails family. I've been knowing her for a while now and following her for years. Me and my wife, we used to go to her shows all the time. And those poetry lines, man, they it's more than just snapping fingers. They actually get down. And yes, and you end up buying a lot of drinks just with the poets and everything. She makes you laugh. She makes you, I don't want to say cry. She makes you think. You're going to get all the emotion if you follow Pace Poetry. So I'm going to let her speak and let her tell her about herself. And yeah, go ahead and take it.
Dang, I mean, I feel like you did everything. Like, made me feel like I was really somebody. What? Yeah, just to piggyback, I'm a poet. I've been doing poetry for, well, performance poetry for, ooh, I want to say almost 10 years now. Almost. Not quite, probably like 8 years. I can't remember, but yeah, so I kind of do that. I have a book. I'm an author. I taught English, middle school, 6th through 8th grade for 5 years, then community college for a year before moving to Atlanta to pursue my PhD in the Department of Humanities and Africana Women's Studies. I am a mother of 2 boys, 17 and 13. Hey, boos. Hey. I feel like I never shout them out. Hey, Sean and Stephen.
And they some women, they some lady killers, man. Them boys look good, man. I feel sorry for you. I know they phone be ringing off the hook.
Look at my face.
Oh man.
And also I am an assistant manager for R&B artist Jay Howell, who is thebomb.com. He has his album, his EP, The Red Room. You know, I got shout that out, Red Room. And a acoustic version and all that good stuff. And the brother can sing, not no auto tunes. He sounds just like the album. Nice. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. When we get started with our first question, just let's go back to the poetry. What made you what makes you get into it? How did you develop the passion and the love for it? What just make you gravitated to poetry?
I have to take it all the way back to high school when in 10th grade, so I was about 15. Yeah. When it was time for the poetry session of our lesson, she was making us write poems in class. So back in 9th grade, I was able to steal songs, put a new title to it. Teacher never knew because they was at the time I had white teachers, so I know they wasn't listening to Ali or nothing like that, so I could get away with it. I never saw myself as, writing poetry. But in 10th grade, she forced it out of me, and with me being a young adolescent, trying to find my way, parents, I'm feeling like they don't understand me type of thing. I started to then start, of course, liking boys, all that type of stuff. I found poetry as an outlet, writing poetry. Fast forward some time, something just kind of like seeing people on stage, I was like, kind of want to try it. First time I ever did it, like besides church and reading, but like trying to perform it.
Yeah.
Bombed. Like couldn't remember a word, a line. And it was Chris's friends that in the band, The City. They were there, and like they talked, they took me outside. They was like, listen, we're gonna play behind you, we're gonna sing behind you. Just bring your notebook up and just read it and just do it that way. And so I ended up getting through that moment and then just started kind of like practicing, going to the first poetry experience that I really had was at word of mouth. Shout out to my girl, Bossy Mossy, because I shout her out because I feel like without her, I wouldn't have developed the brand Pace Poetry. Like Pace Poetry wasn't even like a name I was even thinking of. Like it was my Twitter name. Like if my brother's friend gave me my Twitter name, I needed a new Twitter name. I was like, give me a new Twitter name. He's like, Pace Poetry. I was like, okay, yeah. So it was like not, but she started calling me Pace Poetry, and every time it was every Wednesday event for a year, and every Wednesday she did not let me sit down. Like I'd be like, nah, I ain't gonna perform. Nah. She's like, oh no, you're gonna get up here and do something. You're gonna do best friend, you're gonna do something. You're not gonna sit up in this audience. But having her push me helped me find a love for it. But then I began to realize that it's more than a love. Like when I started to see what my words did to people, then I realized it's something powerful in what I was saying. So it was more than just me doing something that I love, me doing something that's a hobby. I realized even though I may not be getting the bread like you would want to get, but it's not a hobby for me. This is my purpose. This is what I've been put here to do. My voice, my words, my performance is put here to touch people in ways that only I can do so. So I'm telling stories, seeing people's reaction, crying, coming up to me saying, that poem was about them and things like that, that kind of set the tone. And now I know that what I'm doing, what I've been placed here to do, which is to use my voice and speak. Never thought I would, because I feel like I have a speech impediment, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Hey, I definitely got one.
I think everybody do.
Can I ask? So you mentioned your friend kind of one of your friends gave you your Twitter handle. Another friend helped you kind of brand the name Pace Poetry. Like, was that like a whole new experience in terms of actually having to think of yourself outside of just, hey, I'm whoever I am, but there's also this other media / business side of me that is something completely different, that this is all these people in the audience will ever know of me. So here's what I can give them. You know, was that a whole new experience for you, or had you ever done anything like that before?
It's still a whole new experience for me. Like it's kind of surreal when you hear people say, "Oh, I just came here to see you," you know, and I'm like, me. So I don't think I've gotten used to it. I don't even think I've taken the time, or that it really has registered. So when I have people coming to me, like one experience, and it was out here recently, I'm on campus at Clark Atlanta, and me and my classmates, we're outside the classroom, you know, just talking, having conversation, and a girl walks in the hallway, and she's like, and I'm thinking like she's wanting to speak. So I'm like, you know, hey, you know, just so not knowing. And so she's like feeling like she's starstruck, and she kind of like comes up to me, and she's like, "Are you Pace Poetry?" And I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, oh no, she's not doing this to me.
Yeah, girl, you the star, girl.
Like, this can't be for me. And she's like, I was like, yeah. She's like, oh my gosh, I follow you. And I'm like, really? And just her interaction, like it was kind of still hard for her to speak. Or even like I was in LA, and me and this woman, we follow each other now, but she was like, you're Pace Poetry. Like, you just don't know, but you're my mentor. And I'm like, what do these people find? So it really still doesn't register for me. Like, so I know I'm a brand, and I know I'm a business. And so I try to, that's why I'm very cautious of what I put on Instagram.
Except for them birthday photos.
Except for the birthday pictures. That was what I was saying. I was like trying to learn who you was. I was like,
but I was still strategic in when I was doing it. It was the sexual liberation.
Uh-huh. Right.
I tell my wife, like, listen, baby, this ain't one of them. No, this is not what I'm click.
Oh man.
But
I got a question for you, Pace.
I'm very cautious of what I'm posting. Like now in the stories, you're gonna see more. I feel like in my stories, because it deletes in 24 hours, you see more of my true personality. Even though I try to convey it, but I feel like with Instagram, I have to still scale it back. Now Twitter, you get something else. You're gonna get all sides of me. But it's kind of, it's a shift, and so sometimes I have to remind myself when I'm getting ready. I'm like, okay, you got to get in Pace Poetry mode now. Like right now, you're not done yet. You got to get in Pace Poetry mode, and you got to. So it really is. When you hear people talk about an alter ego, you really do become someone else. And for the poems I do, I'm trying to make sure I'm not spitting them the same way. I have one where it's like I'm a psychotic person. I have one where I'm having to make sure that I am embodying these speakers, these roles and stuff that I'm writing about and that I'm performing. So it's challenging, and I haven't got used to it yet. So if I answered your question.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. First of all, I'm digging the hair. Got that soul sister look. Yeah, I like that. So I like how you kind of said that you consider Pace Poetry as a brand / business. So that kind of segue into the question I was going to ask you. And basically my question is, what's next for Pace Poetry? What do you see yourself like, within a year to 5 years? Like what's the next step? What are you trying to reach? What goal are you trying to get to?
I'm going to be completely transparent. With this move to Atlanta 2 years ago now, May 2 years now, everything has been so unpredictable that things that I didn't know that I would be doing, I'm doing. I can't really say exactly. I do know that I've been on I don't really want to say in a hiatus, but I haven't been able to get poems out like I used to.
Right.
And I think it's and I've been so hard on myself because I feel backed up. You know, like I got so much to say, but it's just not coming. But I also feel like maybe it's because I was going so hard for so many years, like especially the years that I was teaching Monday through Friday, and then the weekend I'm performing. You know, I'm doing something. And so maybe this is God's will, like trying to set me down to where I'm not producing the same type of content, and especially since my knowledge is gaining more, I'm obtaining more knowledge about our history and things, and I want to make sure that I'm coming from the pace poetry that I'm evolving to. So I really can't say exactly where I'm really at this unknown state. Like everything is like, it's so different and it's such a shift. I always even imagined as a kid me being in the music industry some kind of way, and then like some kind of way I'm in doing that too, all involved. So it's kind of like I'm really truly at an unknown place. I know that's not the answer that people be wanting to hear. Like, you know, most people want to be like, I see myself, but I really I don't see it yet, and that's because things have been so unpredictable. But I do know that poetry is still me, and it's who I am. It's my life. So I know that it's going to explode again. It's just that I can't say when. I don't really know.
Right. Yeah. So one more question before we get into the next segment. So for those listeners out there that's aspiring to be poets and stuff, can you let us know about the business side of it? Like, what's the behind the scenes, the writing, the touring, the networking you have to do? So just way that we can give some insight to the listeners that's aspiring to be the next Pace.
Okay, so there's so many things, because the problem with this industry is that people don't respect us as true artists, to where they still see a lot of times they still see poetry as just a hobby. And so when they want some different type of talent, oh, I don't want to get a singer or a rapper, I want to get something different and bring a new vibe to it. Let's get a poet. And then they want to throw, oh, it'll be great exposure for you. Is exposure finna get my gas tank to where
Yeah.
is it finna give me back my time? And then you have people who, it's been so many things that I've experienced business wise with having to sell tickets. If you don't sell enough tickets, you can't hit the stage. You got to, so I had to learn the hard way a lot of things, even doing things for free, where people ended up wasting my time. And I'm showing up to an event, people don't know I'm supposed to be performing. And once somebody tell me they don't know I'm supposed to be performing, that means you haven't related. I'm no longer interested. So it's a lot of things, but I do know that you have to build your name up. So one thing I would say is hone in on your talent. Figure out what works for you. Find your voice. Don't compare it to anyone else's, because for the longest, the reason why I didn't want to, I wasn't as confident, was because I didn't sound like slam poets with the scene like those. That's not me. I'm very country, kind of hood when I'm spitting, so it's not the same thing. But find your voice and practice, rehearse. Of course, you must rehearse, and you got to make sure that your poems are embodied inside of you. So then, when you are hitting up open mics, I do suggest hitting up open mics. I don't care how big you get, you still sometimes got to hit up open mic, test your stuff out. When people start approaching you and wanting you to perform, pick a price that works for you. Because at the end of the day, you're not only, a lot of times with events, they're asking you to come with something brand new to fit their theme. So that means you not only have to write a new poem, you now have to rehearse it. You got to get it together. Like, so it's not an easy task. So know your worth and don't settle. Like, again, with that comes knowing things. Like, there are certain things where I will do for free, especially when it involves kids, and especially when it involves young Black girls. I will definitely give myself freely to it a lot of times. But again, you still got to know your limits. So as you're building your brand, you got to know it. But at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong way. You're gonna make your mistakes. You're gonna have to experience certain things where it doesn't pan out the way you want, so that you'll know what not to do. Was there something else to that question?
No, you pretty much was answering it because I always wanted to see you on Def Poetry Jam with
Right.
Russell Simmons. You know how they used to do it back in the day.
I
was
know.
in college
I
back then.
tried to be on Versus and Flow. I really did.
Oh, okay.
Really did. But I caught them when they had already picked the poets. Because somebody I knew actually introduced me to the producer at the time of the show. And so we were emailing back and forth, but timing, nothing fell through. So yeah, I wish a show would actually come like that. But I wanted to even, because on those, it's to be so, don't get me wrong, I know you gotta be quiet, but I kind of wanted to show like the real poetry scene, like you were saying, it's not just you get rowdy, like because I feed off energy. If it's silent, that's kind of like, oh jeez.
Man, there we have Pace Poetry in. Like I said, this is gonna be a great show. Y'all stay tuned, and we're gonna go right into our cruising altitude.
I want to love in Black. See, nothing's easy about being Black. I want the love that knows how to love me in Black when being Black is all I have left to give. Black love is strength and power. It has been conditioned to survive, brings laughter in the toughest times, knows how to take the scraps and feed the soul. Black love is having faith to leave everything when you get that call and still thriving against the odds 20 years later. Will and Jada. It's holding it all down, because you see something far greater than I can see. Your dream lies within me, Denzel and Pauletta. Staying committed, with opposite sides staring back at us. Freeze the spirit even within the cage, Pap and Remy. Our pillow talk is business talk. Bouncing off ideas, then closing deals, J and B. It's taking the oath to always keep it presidential, Barack and Michelle, vowing to march through the fire hand in hand on the front line, Martin and Coretta. Love that death can't part, but gives hope that there's something better awaiting beyond this earthly form, Nip and Lauren, like my parents, who saw that there was no love outside of their love. When it's real, it deserves another chance. Yes, I want to love in Black, because nothing's easy, and I repeat, nothing's easy about being Black. I want the love that knows how to love me in Black when being Black is truly all I have left to give.
All right, guys, we back. We in our cruising altitude. We got Pace, man, and the conversation is live, man. We going at it, so man, we just gonna keep things going. And so we're gonna start off. Dre, don't you have a question ready for Pace?
Absolutely. I know you're a proud mother of two young men.
Proud?
I will say.
I'm a proud mother.
I would say you're a mother. Young man. We're gonna revise that for the show.
Don't.
Hey y'all, she was shouting y'all out earlier too. But it's been a pretty turbulent 2020. Yeah. And there's a lot of things going on. And I just kind of wanted to get your take as a mother of young men in the year 2020. It's a lot of changes. What's kind of your hopes, your thoughts, your take on what it takes to see your young men go from teenagers to young men here?
It is a lot going on in 2020. One of the things that I stand by is that it takes a village to raise a child. I feel that it's been a shift since we were kids where any adult could be able to tell you something and we respect them. As long as your parent knew and you knew that they were telling you something right. Now we in a culture where it's like, don't say nothing to my child. You can't do this. You're not the mama, you're not the daddy. Right now in my situation, I took a different approach. So my kids are not here with me in Atlanta. So that was a difficult decision that I had to make. But I felt like it was the better choice because I'm coming to something completely unknown, don't really have anything set. I really came here in my car with the clothes, cracked TV, didn't know it was cracked. Oh gosh, still hurts. But I had nothing, and so I didn't want to bring them into something so unstable that, especially since they've been used to stability with me. So I decided to leave them with my youngest son's dad, because I got 2 baby daddies. And
Oh no, ain't nobody judging.
I didn't care. I didn't care. But so because I knew he was stable, him and his wife could take on. So like they're living with another woman. I tell all the time, I say, look at, say if you gotta jack them up a little bit, like get out of line, should do that. Like, cause I'm not that mother who thinks that you can't discipline my child in a way when I know it's beneficial to them. And I feel that community is the best thing. And I think that's what's lacking with our kids really truly evolving and transitioning. And they're not, and nobody's listening to elders anymore. Or do we even still have the elders? Like, where are them grandmas that's gonna really talk to you and give you that real? So yeah, I think that takes a lot. That's what truly helps transition young men. I mean, teenagers to young men to men themselves. Like, that's what I believe in. I believe in the village.
And you're right. It does take a village to raise everybody, especially again 2020. We have to stick together. We got to pull our resources together, and we just got to keep it pushing as one unit. So that's great to hear how you and your co-parenting and how it's like everything everything's reality TV, and so we'll see that and thinking that's everybody's situation. Like, no, man, there's actually loving families out here. If we only just see the negative side, that's great to hear.
And I do want to add, I'm gonna give y'all men. This is rare that I really just give men credit.
Oh,
because I don't know if you heard my poems. I kind of go in on y'all, but. But I will say that I've seen a difference in my boys with them having that male figure on a daily basis and not just being able to do the weekend and stuff. And I've seen they still did their little teenage stuff, getting in trouble here and there, but I've seen the change and them being responsible more and really getting on their game and having more drive with that dominant male figure consistent daily in their lives. So there y'all go.
Well, I just want to, I appreciate, I feel like you was talking to me because I'm a father. We all fathers, by the way, and we very much in our children's lives. So I'll pat myself in the back now.
Well, I'm just gonna say, man, I feel like she just validated everything AP been saying for years to me about what it takes for some of us to. There's a lot of brothers out there that don't have that male influence, and how important it is for those of us that are capable of stepping in and trying to fill that void to do it in whatever form we can. So, I know AP be saying that a lot in a lot of our stuff, but that's just, it's the first time we got someone out here that kind of validates that. So it's good to hear.
And a woman, right?
Yeah, truth. Right there.
Truth. Ain't I a woman? Sojourner Truth.
Man, Pace, I feel like you be segueing my questions, man. You basically throwing up them live passes for me, because I like how you was talking about takes a village and having that strong elder presence, in the young children. And so my next question is actually kind of focused more on your teacher ability. And I know, like, it's funny, like you see all these memes that went on last school year at the end once COVID hit, about all these parents struggling to teach their children and stuff, and then they be like, man, I got a new respect for these teachers, man, because I can't do it. And I mean, it's true. And like, I feel like we don't give the teachers the credit. They not paid enough. You know what I'm saying? That's why we got so many bad ones, because they don't care. It's not worth it. They just basically, it's just a job. They just getting money. And so my question for you is, how hard is it to, I guess, kind of mold and shape the future of our young Black children, basically, because they are the future? So how hard is it for you to do that, and what kind of issues do you run into trying to mold and build these children up?
That's, before I answer that question, I want to comment on one of you things about bad teachers. I'm gonna be honest. The only reason why they end up becoming bad teachers, so to speak, is because administration has drained them completely down to where they have nothing to give anymore. I have to say it. I'm sorry. It's politics.
I believe it. It's the same in corporate America too.
Yeah.
Right. But I would say that kids are, despite what we may think of this new generation, they are looking for the discipline, the person who's going to steer them in the right direction. My first 2 years of teaching, they were rough. They were real rough. My first year was at Cullen Middle School, and then my last 4 years was at Holland Middle School. So Cullen was on the south side, Sunnyside, South Park side of Houston, and then Holland was in the Pleasantville area, close to Fifth Ward. So I'm in the hood, you know what I'm saying? But I feel that as a teacher, it's about understanding the dynamics of a lot of these kids' background and what they're dealing with. Because you in these professional developments, and they're telling you, you know, poverty children, you got what they feel that you need to do in order to help these poverty children. But at the end of the day, we kind of know, we probably don't have the same exact story as these kids, but we kind of know what they're dealing with. So you got to be understanding in a sense, but still be firm with them because they're looking for that. So I went from first 2 years of teaching, sucking, to my last 3 where I got 42 kids in the classroom and they all doing work, some sitting, some having to sit at my desk. I mean, because this is how overcrowded my classroom was. But I have the supposed worst of the worst kids all in one class, and they're doing work now. So I would say that, and the reason why I was able to do that is because I was able to gain their respect. Now I have to go off a few times and let them show that I want no punk.
Me no punk bitch. Me no punk bitch.
Yeah, you know. So I mean, but you have to show them that because I mean, these kids are growing up. A lot of our kids, especially our own, they're growing up rough. So they're getting it, and they have so many issues going on at home. They come to school. They ain't trying to hear what you're trying to say. They don't care. They just there. You know, it's an escape from their home life. They there with their friends. They kicking it with the boo. So you got to gain your respect. And like, I mean, I've done some unconventional things, and I'm not ashamed of them because when you disrespect me, I'm a blackout. But now I know the impact that I made because I still have students to this day calling me, reaching out to me in my DMs, saying they miss me and things of that nature. So I know that I did what I was supposed to do and help shaping them. I have students telling me, dang, Ms. Pace, you was the only one who believed in me. You know, I have one student, he went down wrong little path a little bit, but now he's trying to get right and finally trying to finish school. And he's like, can you please, when I graduate, it's in San Antonio, but can you please come? Because you was the only one who believed it. You always told me I could do it, I could do it, I could do it. And so those little things are what they need. They need that reassurance. They need that person who's on there, who can get on their level, but also know that that even though they can get on their level, they're trying to raise them and elevate them to their best potential that they know that they can bring out, instead of, because they already got somebody at home probably beating them down.
Right. And so to talk about more about you being an educator, I know that you are in school right now pursuing your PhD in Africana Women's Studies, right?
Yep.
At Clark University. So with that, what are your next goals as far as being an educator?
I'm trying to think if I want to go back to teaching. Been kind of scorned, you know.
Or maybe trying to teach on a collegiate level.
No, I honestly, I will say that I am past the teaching English, like knowing your grammar, punctuation and stuff. I do want to have some conversations and some discussions, so I would more than likely teach collegiate, but I would still want to do workshops and speak and hold things for young Black girls and young Black boys too. I'm not trying to forget about the boys as well. But I just remember myself as a young girl growing up and some of the things that probably could have helped me a little bit with certain programs in place, or, you know, being put in programs if my parents knew of the resources that were out there. So those are ways that I would definitely still be in education, teaching poetry, you know, performance poetry, how you can, you know, bring the page to the stage, so to speak. So just using my gift to educate as well, and then using that Africana women's studies knowledge, and I'm learning my African American studies too. So I'm learning a lot. Clark Atlanta is, I feel like I'm just now learning. Like I feel like I've been deceived my entire life. So
there ain't no PV though.
I know, right? Hey,
well, I ain't gonna say nothing because I be at PV homecomings area. So.
I was about to say this. Your network is all PV. It's so much PV that I thought you actually went there with school with us. We was like, hold on, I ain't never seen her on campus.
Like, why you on PV homecoming? I said, because I know everybody at PV. I said, I went to U of H. I don't know anybody at the university.
Tell her the real. You go to PV homecoming because you know that's the best homecoming of all the colleges.
I can't lie, because I went to Clark's my first year. They was paying people to get on the yard. I said,
don't say that.
Like, people who didn't go there, they had to enter one gate. People who went there had to enter another gate. And I had my homegirl fly in. We finna hit homecoming. We didn't go to PV homecoming that year because we gonna try out Clark's. We left and went to a happy hour and did our thing. I was just like, oh, I should have went to PV.
You ain't leaving PV homecoming till the next morning.
Man, you gotta force yourself to leave.
Right? Man. Like I said, guys, this has been that episode, man. And so, hey, but we're gonna have to move it on to the landing.
So I don't feel like one mentor can help you in every area of your life. Like, I feel I have a spiritual mentor. He's a different type of spiritual mentor, because he gonna cuss me out, like, and tell me, get your head out your ass type of thing. but I be needing that. And you know, people call me their mentor. That's still shocking.
Right.
But you know, it's mainly, but again, they have me with poetry, you know, helping them with their writing, asking me as far as what do I think about their writing, what can they do. So I feel that mentorship is important when you can find the right kind. I personally don't believe in the paying for mentorship, because then I feel like, where's the genuineness of this person actually growing? Like, I feel like it's just about business, because I don't put that much time into the people who consider me their mentor. When they call me and they are asking me questions, they need help on something, then I do that. And then I'll check in on them, asking if they're okay, how they doing, and things like that. But it's not this, I'm not helping them execute anything per se, but I am giving them advice when needed on certain areas, which is the same thing my mentor does for me.
Gotcha. To catch exclusive content from this episode or any of our previous episodes, subscribe to our Patreon at Chemtrails Podcast. All right, guys, we're back for the landing. This is one of our least favorite parts of the show when we have to end it. First of all, before I let the other two guys go, I just want to tell Pace thank you for coming out on our show. And just to give a little backstory, man, we were so last minute with this interview. I literally hit her up yesterday and said, hey, you come on or whatever. And let me tell you, she did not hesitate. She was like, oh, I had something, but let me maneuver. She was maneuvering plans and stuff. So, and And I just want to tell her thank you for that, because that just shows you her dedication, and she's willing to help everybody. And I feel like that's the energy I put out. And so it's good to see that door revolving back to you when you somebody coming for the helping hand. So I just want to thank you. Also, we have her book. She said I got the old cover because I
He
bought it.
does.
I
This is the
bought
new
it,
cover.
the new cover. So if y'all
Awakening
listen,
the
Yeah.
Face of Love.
right? So if y'all watching
That's
this on
actually
the,
me on the cover on this one.
oh, let me see that. Yeah, y'all heard it's awakening of awakening the pace of
Awakening the
love.
Face of Love. Yes.
Right. Y'all go get the book. Y'all could buy it on Amazon. And what else they can buy the book at?
They can't buy it on Amazon anymore because I do that. Just DM me. Just
Okay.
DM me. Yeah, because
DM.
Amazon take a lot. You know what I'm saying? They take a lot of your profit. So yeah, I know it's not on that.
Do you have a
So
website?
it is pacepoetry.com, but I'm under reconstruction. I need to fix that.
Okay.
Like I said, I've been like real trying to get myself together. I'm telling you, moving to a whole new city is life changing. So it's like you starting from scratch.
Yeah.
And you got to get it together. And so you be thinking, you try to give yourself a time frame in a year. You gotta pace yourself. But DM me, Pace Poetry. I'll hook you up.
So
Pace Poetry. Gotcha.
So you mentioned that, you talked a little bit about your journey going towards working on your PhD and everything like that. And I know you were talking about potentially taking a step away from necessarily putting out anything in the immediate future. If we had to say what's kind of on the horizon for you, what are like those next goals that you got in mind following your completion of your PhD?
I mean, I do have a poetry book that's just on my laptop, just sitting there, that I really need to go ahead and put out. It's poems. I know a lot of people have been asking me to do an album. I just don't really care for the way my voice sounds because I'm so country. But
girl, get over that. Get over
no,
that.
but you know we're our own self critic. So it's just like I'm listening. I'm like, oh, I sound so country. Like, ooh.
You trying to Beyonce this thing. That's why she don't do interviews, because she thinks she sound country. But we hear the country when she's singing and doing backflips on stage.
She does sound country, but so I definitely do want to put out the book that's been sitting on my laptop for over a year now, and I do want to get back in the studio and record, because I recorded like 2 poems before, but I want to go ahead and knock out an album, see what I can come up with eventually too. So I don't know if it'll be all new stuff or having some old stuff, because I know people want the effed up in the head and the stay the F away from me pieces and stuff like that. You know, their favorites. If I'm a bitch, and I'm a bitch.
And the WAPs, the WAP poems and all that.
Yeah, you know. So I don't know. So I guess that'll come to me like when I actually get the creative vision for what I would want to do. The thing is, I don't want to put out an album just because people are telling me to, and because I feel like everyone is doing it, and it's time for Pace to put out an album too. I want to make sure I have a clear direction. So when I'm actually in there, I know exactly what I want to do, what I want to sound like, what I want the album to convey. Because again, I have evolved from a lot of the poems that I've written. Now, some I can still spit, of course, but I'm not just into bashing men anymore. I mean, I'm giving y'all a break. Maybe.
We appreciate you for that.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
I think that's a cool concept, first of all, because it's like I look back and I look on some of the people who, and the poets, the artists, and everyone who's kind of like really influenced me. It's always interesting because as they evolve, in a lot of ways, they bring the fans along with them on that evolution, and that's their chance to help some of us grow as we progress with them. So I applaud that. So anyways, all right, go ahead, AP.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Pace, for taking time out to jump on our podcast. I really enjoyed this interview. I learned a lot from you. I really didn't know who you were besides what Mo Chris was saying. I mean, I kind of listened to some of your poems. I didn't listen to the man bashing ones. I'm happy I didn't, but kind of looked up some of your stuff on Instagram too. But yeah, I appreciate you, man. I feel like, you know, I was connecting with you. Your vibe was positive and stuff like that. And I know you about to get your PhD. And all I would say is, because I know you got a lot of stuff on your plate, just continue to. I know you're not teaching anymore, but if you can, like, just try to give back to the younger generation, because now we're at a point now where they need all the help they can get, because it's not looking good, and they need all the positive reinforcement, and like you said, the elders to step up. So like I said, I just hope that you continue to don't lose that teaching edge, you know, so that you can help the children going forward.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think I tweeted the other day because a song came on. It was "Love Don't Change" by Jeremiah, but it was a song that I ended up coming on in my classroom, and all my kids in the classroom, they knew it and started singing it, and we were singing it together, and it made me miss them. So I love the impact that I see on what I can bring out of those kids. So I definitely don't want to lose that. Just want to do it in a different way. Don't want to do it through the system.
I'm glad to see all that respect for Chicago artists. Just throwing that out there.
Well, guys, man, and so there you have it. You can follow Pace at Pace Poetry on Instagram. You can follow us, Chemtrails, at Chemtrails Podcast at Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Email us at chemtrailpodcast@gmail.com. And what else? Anything I left out, fellas? And yeah, till next time, man. Y'all, yeah, till next time. Peace.
Keep on rocking with us.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, Chemtrail listeners. Want to leave a message? Just click the link in our show notes to leave a voicemail. And if you come from a simpler times like myself, just call, leave us a voice message at 832-308-0529. And don't forget, all messages can record up to 3 minutes long.
What up? It's your boy AP. Make sure you follow us at Chemtrails Podcast, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Hit us up. Once again, that's Chemtrails Podcast at Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Peace out.
Get your voice heard at www.chemtrails.mn.co. Join the community.
No, baby, we start over.
What?
Wait, start over. Okay.
Okay. Chris.
Man, Drake,
I had it perfect, and I messed it up.
Hey, P, I think you called this one.
Man, I told you, man.
I'm gonna ask this one more time. This is for the listeners, it's not for me.
He be stumbling all over his words all day.
All right, here.
Oh, man.
So Pace.